Touch base real quick. I've been driving for about 12 hours now, on the clock, with a very short break somewhere in there where I think I took a shit or something. I honestly can't remember now. I'm going to a little brain fog because, psychological fatigue happens when you're going this long. It has just occurred to me, take the land out of the name of nations. So, the name of the land here in my home country is America. America has nothing to do with the nation other than where it's located. It is the United States. We are United States of America. We are states which are unique, separate unto ourselves in our values, traditions, and historical heritage and culture. But we are united. There is a degree of diversity inherent in the United States, all the way back to the original 13 colonies. Each of those 13 colonies were not the same nation initially. They all had their own mores, their own standards of conduct, their own economic strengths and weaknesses. They were the 13 colonies. They later became united, but initially they were their own people. They had intercolonial trade between them, but they all had their own bailiwick, their own thing. And we continued that tradition even into today, where we have 50 states instead of 13 colonies. Colonies evolved in the states, and states multiplied as we acquired more land through means legitimate and illegitimate, and produced these own little microbiomes, if you will, of political, spiritual, and economic schools of thought. No two states are really alike. We have some states that have more in common than other states, but they're all kind of unique, and there's 50 of them. So we are the United States. Now let's have some fun and do other nations. How about the Communist Party? The Chinese Communist Party, but just the Communist Party located in China. Kind of self-explanatory, no frills, no surprises. It's communism, it's in China. It looks like it's working right now, but that's only because they're in the expansion phase. Anytime a communist nation goes into consolidation, they collapse. The only way that you can make communism work is by continuously expanding. Since they're raping the living piss out of Africa, that kind of gives them a leg up in new resource acquisitions. They still have a large portion of their middle class that hasn't been harvested yet, so that'll kind of keep them aloft. They can artificially inflate their currency, their currency's value. So they'll float for a while, but within a few decades, they're a paper dragon. They'll burn out, and then they'll collapse once they come into consolidation. As soon as they run up against walls and somebody pumps the brakes on their expansionism and says get the fuck out of Africa or something like that, they're done. Who else can we do? Oh, the Union. The European Union. The Union. Well, I think we remember how the Union was back in our own historical times, over here in America, on America, however you want to phrase that, on the continent of North America, in the territory of America. We had the Union and the Confederacy, and the Confederacy got beat down by the Union. Of course, the Union didn't really abolish slavery on time up north. I mean, that Emancipation Proclamation got signed, and the Confederacy handed over all their slaves. And the Union's like, you know what? No pressure, guys. No pressure. You're on our team, the winning team, the team that's the right team, on the right side of history. So, if you need a couple of decades to kind of wind down your use of slaves, I guess we'll just look the other way. And that's exactly what they did. They also did a lot of other hinky shit that they never talk about in history class, like Lincoln sending, his primed and battle-seasoned Union soldiers out to slaughter some Injuns, but that's neither here nor there. So the Union of Europe, the European Union, do you think they're going to do anything much different in spirit and modality than the Union did in America? No, actually they're doing the same thing, playing the same games, uniting parties that don't want to be united, forcing people into the fold because quote-unquote too much blood and treasure has been expended to bring them prosperity and security, so you can't just secede. Sounds awful similar, doesn't it? It's almost like they're just doing like a kindergarten play version of what we did over here in the United States. I just thought you'd get a kick out of that. It's funny, like, because language is a fickle mistress and can oftentimes betray like that which you're trying to extol just by bearing naked the blatant reality of human nature. And that's, you know, something, a little game I wanted to play with y'all. Something just to kind of like giggle over, I guess. United States, the Communist Party, the Union. Fun stuff. And then there's other countries that are kind of uninteresting because they just call themselves the land that they're on. Japan. Okay. Where's Japan located? On the island of Japan. What's the name of the country? Japan. Very, what's the word we're looking for? Homogeneous. Kind of like the populace. Not working out so great in the long run. I mean, look, they got a great storied history too, and actually quite fascinating, and they've been stable for millennia, up until, you know, Western influence came along and ran a train on their whole situation. I can't say it's been for the better in the long run. I mean, short term, my technology and JDM cars. Good times. Fucking... But it just didn't work out for them. Better luck next time, I guess. Anyways, just thought I'd share that with y'all.